But I did want to get your take on the president-elect's views on tariffs, once again arguing that we don't pay them, that the Chinese will, and indeed those tariffs are slapped on Chinese goods, as the president proposes to do again, and to a host of other countries here. Now, many fear in the financial community that they're going to lead to higher prices in this country, and that will be borne largely by Americans. Do you share that view, or do you think that this is merely a cudgel that the president-elect is using to extract concessions out of China and all these other countries?
Yeah. So, look, I want to be very clear on tariffs. Tariffs are a measure that are used to influence behavior. So again, I don't buy this argument that consumers don't pay. No, consumers absolutely pay for tariffs. The point, though, is that consumers will shift their buying activity to corporations or U.S. companies that don't have tariffs. That's the whole point. If you want to buy a foreign good, the challenge, though, Neil, is that so much of our products and our services are come from other countries. But I tell my clients this, Neil, look, it may be as Americans that we come together and say, you know what? I may be spending more to buy American. I will fully agree. It's probably going to cost me more to buy these clothing for my kids' school, to buy the goods and services that I need. And I may say I am willing to make that agreement. I'm willing to make that deal if it means long-term we're bringing manufacturing here at home. So I think if we're honest about this, tariffs will drive costs. It will be more expensive for the consumer. But as Americans, we may have to say, you know what? I'll be okay with that if it means long-term security for our nation. So, Neil, it's more expensive in the short term, but hopefully it will move behavior and change behavior to products and services that are made here at home.
Well,
so
that is the hope, and maybe that's what the president-elect was getting at. Real quickly, David, then your sense of how the markets are going to absorb that, because they're worried about the tariffs. They think it's going to be inflationary. Yeah. They think it's going to delay further rate cuts by the Federal Reserve, no matter what it does this week, and that if anything, it could get out of hand. Trade wars ultimately lead to sometimes things that are worse. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, look, across the board tariffs, not good for the U.S. economy. There's been a lot of argument about this. Is Trump talking about across the board, or is he looking at more isolated? If you isolate, I hate to say it, but China, where there's a lot of goods coming from China, but if it's isolated to certain regions, it is going to cost the market more. But I don't think it's going to cost it to the degree that impact earnings dramatically. Could we see a dip in earnings? Yes, but that could be offset by tax cuts. You take the corporate tax rate down to 15%, it could be neutral or slightly beneficial. But I don't think you can do it without some tax cuts. You need some boost to corporations to offset tariffs, Neil.
That's a very good point to look at in the whole perspective. If tax rates go down, and even if the price of goods goes up, it could be an evening out. But we'll watch it closely. We're a long way from seeing the details on any of that. David, thank you so much and your patience during all of that.